is Sunday, March the 10th, 2019. Welcome to Wrestleview Live number 53. I was right this time. It's been a while for me on this wonderful podcast, so welcome in everybody joining us live on YouTube, or those who watch us on delay or listen to us via audio on Spotify or iTunes or all that wonderful stuff. So thank you. But we like to do these live. We like to bang them out live, and then it's just kind of our style here on Wrestleview. We're going to be talking about the second to last pay-per-view. Well, I guess this was the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania. And was reading some... Hello, everybody in the chat room. I'll say hello to Andrew. Hello to Daniel. Hello, everybody. Joining us live. As you can see, we have we decided to toss the chats in here. But yeah, this is the last pay-per-view for WrestleMania, and I've read some interesting comments as I was covering the show live in WrestleView. I saw a lot of people calling this a waste of a show. Why not just do Elimination Chamber in really late February or early March, and then just have a bigger gap? But I have to say, and I'm going to talk about this with Doug, I like having 4 weeks of space instead of like the usual. I felt like 6 to 7 we always had to bear through. It's been terrible. Hello to Mr. Brian Farmer, Lewis, and Jamel in the chat room. Thank you for joining us. But yeah, I want to talk about this with Doug Lackey. Which one? We just bring in Doug when we say hello to Doug. He is the host of Wrestleview Weekly, which you can catch here every Wednesday on our YouTube page. Search Wrestleview Media, Wrestleview Live on YouTube. It is Doug Lackey. Douglas, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing just grand. I'm kind of with you in that. I guess people, they don't like the idea of Fastlane because they want everything to be for free on TV.
What is that? Like they want everything.
They want a 6 to 7 week build, and they want to have monumental feels on TV.
Oh, I see. You know. Okay, yeah. No, I always, as I was introduced, and again, I never planned these, but as I was introducing that, I was thinking like the last time we did a show, we were talking about like, oh man, now we got 6 weeks, now we got 7 weeks. I always remember during the VIP days, there was just a massive amount of television they had to fill before WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
And that was even like a conversation. I remember betting with you, which I won the bet. If you want to call it a bet. But I remember Hunter and yourself were like, oh my God, they're booking John Cena on The Rock a year out. This is going to be terrible. They're not going to be able to do this. And yes, there was massive gaps in between promoting that. But I remember that era, though. There was always, I want to say they never did a show in March. They always did Elimination Chamber. Elimination Chamber was always the show after the Rumble. And then there was just like a huge gap of space until WrestleMania. So by the way, they're saying that Doug looks orange. I think that's just the tint of the lighting in Doug's. They're saying you look like Donald Trump with your orange.
Well, here's the deal, kids. If you don't want the Fastlane logo going on behind me with the green screen, I'll be more than happy to show you where all the magic happens at night with my bed, if you'd like.
I don't like the bed anymore. I like the background that you do now.
I like this, and if that means that I've got to look like someone that you all hate, then and honestly, that doesn't sound like a change at all.
Not at all.
So I don't know what y'all are complaining about.
If you look orange, then I look really pale because I've got Irish blood in me. So
you're from Iowa. Yeah. You don't see the sun that much.
I don't, man. It's just it's a lot of coldness.
Speaking of sun, the sun came out for the first time in like a week and a half here.
Yeah, but you don't have to deal with the stuff I have to deal with.
Well, no, I don't.
Negative 60 wind chill. CJ Bowman chiming in the chat. When is that shirt going on sale? I do have a nice new Wrestleview shirt. Doug,
you do. Could you talk about what you're wearing now?
Did I ever show you this one, Doug? So this
No,
is,
you did not. You need to show off the garb. What is this?
See it? Oh, actually, let me move the mic. There we go. See it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a little modern looking. It's a little different than what we're used to.
Yeah.
So this is okay. If you remember this, a year ago we did what was the Roman Reigns shirt we did? The Bird Earned shirt.
Oh, that was the Bird Earned flak jacket shirt.
I loved that. Everyone said, "Hey, I want that," and the the interest and the purchase levels did not exactly align. Which I guess I'll mention this too. My brother and his friend are running. They run a podcast together, and they had. Hundreds of people say, "Oh man, I want T-shirts. I want all this stuff," And the amount of people that say they actually want a shirt and then actually buy a shirt, it just doesn't coincide. So I'm going to be honest. I tried reverse psychology tonight, Doug, where I wasn't going to say anything about it, wasn't even going to plug it, wasn't going to talk about it until someone brought it up. And CJ was that first person to bring it up. So I will keep everybody posted about these Wrestleview shirts if you're interested. But for now,
see, that's how you're supposed to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And these are comfortable. They're the soft cotton. They're not the cheesy pro wrestling tee. And now pro wrestling, I shouldn't talk shit about pro wrestling tees. They do
Yes,
sell,
you should.
Well, they used to sell the really cheesy 100% cotton shirts, and I hated those because they just were not comfortable. They felt stiff as a board. These are the real soft, comfortable shirts. So I actually have 2 more. Do you want me to go get the other 2 and show, or should we wait? Should we tease it?
Let's wait on that for a different reveal.
Okay, we'll wait. I have 2 more. I'm looking right now, but
because we were actually coming on here to talk wrestling.
We were, but
not do an infomercial.
But we could also do Lackey Club shirts too, which
I know that sounds fantastic and everything, but
I want to wear Lackey Club shirts. So
well, okay,
yeah.
If you want to flaunt my name, go right ahead. I won't keep you from doing that.
Lovely. That's lovely. So let's talk about Fastlane. And no, Frank asked if we're turning into a t-shirt company like AEW. No, we are not turning into a t-shirt company. Do we want to see what people thought first before we get into the show?
Yeah, let's first look at what everyone thought on the Twitter.
Let's dial up the Twitters, which I have to take a picture of this, Doug, as we're live. I have a monitor mounted. So if you see me staring up, it's because I'm staring up at the monitor right now. Let's dial.
And I'm trying my hardest to make it look like I'm actually looking at Adam, but I'm not.
Does it? Oh, wait, I gotta look this way. If I stare like this, does it look like we're talking to it? So you gotta look the way you were just looking.
Well, the way I'm looking right now is not at one of my monitors. I'm staring out the window.
Okay, I'm looking at a window too, so that's maybe we should do that and freak everybody out. 80% right now is what people are thinking. So we have some reply. I tried to get you and Mike to read replies when you guys did the Chamber show, but you gave 0 fucks. But
no, we don't care what anyone has.
I like to read them. Bronx chimed in. I was pleasantly surprised. Raw tag title match was good. WWE title match was good, and the Shield match was just fun, not bad. And then Daniel Shell chimes in and says heel Shane is fun. So it's getting a positive. I was honestly ready to come on here and expect a full on negative onslaught from everybody. I
mean, for some things, yes, there are.
Yeah. But this show is, I saw the feedback and I was reading, and also I know you say don't scroll down, but I'm going to scroll down tonight because we never read the comments on actual Wrestleview. But there was the discontent of the Kofi stuff, which I love the Kofi stuff. I can't wait to talk about this tonight.
Yes.
Just completely messing with everybody tonight was hilarious. But there was some discontent of like, wow, I don't know about the show. And why are they doing that? I had one person in the comments describe this as your average episode of Raw every Monday night. And
really?
I don't know if I go that far. Because you got to see the Shield reuniting. You got to see, bigger star. You got to see, people that are normally on, SmackDown. You got to see, different stuff. You got to see Roman's first match back. Kevin Owens.
Elias wasn't interrupted.
No, this is a little different than your average episode of Raw.
Kind of a major character turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think they're doing that. I mean, they might, but yeah, I don't think they're doing that on Raw.
No, they aren't. No.
So where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the Shield, which I was kind of I asked a question on Twitter. I said, do you because at that point they decided to go with the WWE Championship match, which we'll talk about, which ended up changing twice throughout the course of a couple hours.
There were a lot of changes in this card.
A lot of changes. There was a U.S. title match that was added that wasn't previously announced. I didn't realize that Rusev and Nakamura versus Biggie and Xavier Woods was going to get shifted to the kickoff show. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different. By the way, did you look what they did tonight for the first time? Which is something I've I hate to do I'm not doing the WWE copying me gimmick. I'm saying this is something I've always thought about doing with Wrestleview, but decided not to. But they did something called WWE Watch Along tonight.
Yeah, let's talk about that too.
So I didn't get a chance to see most of it because I was covering the show live, but I did dive bomb in and I saw Christian eating food at catering in the background. I saw Shane Helms checking his cell phone. And then Pat McAfee, Sam Roberts, and the Iconics were just sitting, and EC3 was kind of hidden off to the side. And and they were just watching the show backstage, and people were coming and going. Brian Farmer in the chat said he tried for 3 minutes and said it was awful. I didn't get a chance to really soak it in. I love the stuff that Pat McAfee's doing right now. I don't know if you've seen some of his content.
Oh, yes.
Did you see the video he put up this past week where he tried to shake Michael Hayes' hand on the ramp and Michael Hayes just didn't even acknowledge him? It was the funniest thing ever. But Pat McAfee's great. But I don't know. Did anybody else in the chat besides Brian see it? Because from the concept seems fun. I thought about doing this on Wrestleview of just sitting as we're doing this right now, sitting and watching a pay-per-view with everybody and have a chat up. But then I thought, well, that's 4 hours.
Well, the thing is, the idea is something like that is an idea that I brought up of something we do for WrestleMania.
Yeah, like a watch along.
Yeah, like a watch along with all of us people from the Wrestleviews, that have actually never met each other in one room at the same time. I've never met Tom. I've never met Hunter. I've never met, the Nemers, it would be fantastic to have the whole crew together and there being some kind of, fly on the wall camera where we're watching it. And then one of us is on a laptop trying to update on the website and stuff like that.
That would be fun if we could get everybody together, but yeah, that's not going to probably happen for a long time, but
no, probably not.
No, but instead of, cause we were originally all going to go to WrestleMania this year, and we decided not to. At least I couldn't make it. But yeah, that would be kind of fun, I think, to kind of chill and just sit and watch a show. I just didn't know if I'm reading some feedback. Like Brian said, I love the concept of the watch along, but I don't think it works on the internet. See, I disagree with that because that's the whole popularity of what YouTube is reacting to something. Now maybe he means in the context of live, not there's something that happened and then someone's watching it. Goosey called it the Wrestleview cast, but I tend to kind of agree with what I think maybe what Brian said, and maybe I'm wording it differently than what he said, but I was always nervous that no one's going to want to sit on YouTube with us for 5 hours. They're just going to check out after a while.
Well, no, they're going to do split screen. I mean, let's go and if they're going to be doing something like this, they're going to be watching it on a computer. Okay. Bring up your WWE network to watch the pay-per-view in one window. Bring up the window of everyone watching what you're watching in a separate window. Put it all in the same thing, and there you go. It's not like you're going to be watching people watching what you would like to watch. That's not how it's going to work. And that is a thing now, is people watching other people watch stuff.
Yeah.
It's a far cry from everyone would be complaining about, why would I want to watch people playing video games? Well, it's worse when you're watching people watch stuff. Okay. Reaction videos are the thing. And also in the infancy of Wrestleview Weekly last year, I had Match of the Night where I would watch a wrestling match I'd never watched before.
Yeah. And we used to do Mystery Shoot Theater 3000 during Impact. And
yeah,
whenever there was a WWE draft, we used to do Wrestleview Radio Live reacting to it because we thought that was important and it was fun to hear the reactions. Bronx said, not to brag, but we used to do it. Are you referring to Sunday night or Wrestle Talk Radio or Sunday Night Showdown or Wrestling News Live or what? Because I'm not sure, but I remember way back in the day, Doug, there used to be a block of radio and audio wrestling and a show called Wrestle Talk Radio. It was up in Canada, in Calgary. They used to go to a sports bar and broadcast live from a sports bar and cover the pay-per-view. So you could hear the pay-per-view in the background, but then you could hear the ambiance of the bar. And then we would come on as Wrestling News Live after that ended to then talk about the show as well.
Yes.
But we're talking more in the context of actual video and audio presentation versus just audio. So this would be a little different. But I see people doing it. I remember when Roman Reigns announced that he had leukemia, I saw clips of people who apparently every Monday on YouTube just sit there and watch Raw with people. So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. But I was curious if anybody saw the watch along, because that's a new concept for the WWE. Not exactly a brand new concept for the internet, but for them it is. So let's talk about the Shield reuniting. I'm alluding to what I had said earlier, where I thought, okay, they went with the WWE title match, so they're either going to close with Charlotte and Becky, or they're going to close with the Shield. And I asked that question, and a couple people chimed in. I was kind of under the impression maybe they close with Charlotte and Becky, given how much television time that's getting and the buzz on social media. But then I was thinking, well, this is Roman's first match back since what? Since October? Was it October?
Yeah, October 22nd.
Okay. So, that's kind of a big deal too. But they decided to go with the Shield tonight, and they kept. So you've talked about this. I've actually not had an opportunity to talk about this with you. You've talked about it ad nauseum on Wrestleview Weekly, but the whole Dean Ambrose contract expiring situation, it put me in a weird position because.
Well, sure, I know you and I talked about it over phone text conversations.
We've talked about it over text, but it put me in a weird position because I saw the report, which was initially distributed by Pro Wrestling Torch, and then that turned into another report, I think by Fightful or PW Insider. Or there was a myriad of different reports that came out after that. So I decided to email my WWE PR contact. For the half the time he doesn't respond, but I thought let me just try this, and I don't know if anybody else did because apparently nobody else did. Because when I issued that reply, I checked. I looked at every major wrestling website out there, every Twitter handle, everything. Nobody had it. Yeah. But they issued that response. They said, yeah, we can confirm the reports that his contract is up. Now they're talking about it on television. That's a little fishy. Like I remember at the time you felt it was weird, and it was weird, and it was a first for them to acknowledge that to the media. But maybe they figured, oh, Doug, the story's out there. People know about it. Let's just issue this statement. But now, as he's walking out tonight, they're literally saying on commentary, Michael Cola's Dean Ambrose's contract is running up. This is the last time you're going to see the Shield. He said it was an end of an era when the match was done tonight. It feels a little fishy. I don't know, but at this point, are you feeling like? Yes, this is definitely something that because I know Roman Reigns commented on it recently he did some kind of an appearance, like a signing, and someone asked him about Dean, and he's like, yeah, we're going to work on that a little bit. So I don't know since he's come back, if they've talked him into staying or what the situation is, but feels a little weird, doesn't it? That they're talking about it so openly on television right now.
No.
Well, not to you, but
no, not to, I'm very sorry. I mean,
the whole situation's very, but you have to admit the whole situation's weird for them to issue that statement, even respond to it, because half the time they just ignore this stuff. They don't.
No,
they don't it.
Most of the time they do ignore that stuff, but I think, let's be perfectly honest, okay? The jokers over at WWE headquarters, they see the stuff that's written all the time, and a lot of it they laugh at about 85 to 90% of it. Okay. But then every so often, some reports will come out and everyone over there will look at each other across from the creative table going, you know what? Let's roll with this one. Let's go ahead and go with this one and see what happens. Yeah, let's throw them a bone. Let's make them feel good about themselves. Okay. It did not feel right from the get-go when they went out on their website and readily said, yes, Dean Ambrose has not re-signed a contract with the company, and he will be leaving after WrestleMania. Suddenly everyone just goes, oh, it's been confirmed, it's going to happen. While I'm sitting here going, hold on. The reason I said hold on is I'm a big baseball fan of my Cleveland Indians, and so I get alerts on my phone regards to what's going on with the team. It's the off season, trades are happening and all this stuff. But the alerts I don't get about my team are the stuff about people leaving. I'm never told that I lose a player from free agency. I'm never told that we don't re-sign a player. Organizations don't do that. They don't let their public know that someone will not be re-signing. Okay, that is just from a news information standpoint. Okay, out to a fan base. This is not from yes, pro wrestling is not a sport. And yes, I understand this is a fantasy sports realm. But this is something you don't do. Okay, that's why I immediately went, okay, the workers are working here. Yeah, I was not buying it for a second. Not for a second at all. And so for them to now they're bringing it up on the TV show, and the TV show being the pay-per-view that we had tonight. They never brought it up really since the announcement that he was not going to be re-signing till now, until now.
Yeah.
Vocally to everyone, which also means that most people that are watching the show right now don't peruse pro wrestling news sites. And also, more importantly, don't peruse the WWE.com.
Maybe.
Okay. So everyone just hold your horses, enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I know. The whole like people don't go on the internet argument is just dead with me though. Like when people were chanting in 2004 about Brock Lesnar leaving, I mean, think about how much bigger the internet has grown since then.
That was
like,
That was in New York.
Yeah, but it was
sports.
It was 2004 though. Like think about where the internet was in 2004. And see, the thing is, I live in like the marketing and SEO world. Like I know how powerful this shit is. I know like right now, Doug, I can on my phone, I can dial up a Google feed. And all it does is show wrestling headlines because it knows that I like wrestling. It's pulling from every wrestling. So this idea that you're not going to see that story, I don't know. I mean, yes, maybe not the majority of the audience.
It depends on how often you are on that medium and you tag into that. Okay.
I mean, that's a powerful medium to underestimate in 2019.
And a lot of people do not harness it, especially for something that they casually watch.
Yeah, but you're telling me that smartphones are not readily available and capable?
No, I'm saying that people aren't looking at it.
Oh, I completely disagree with that. I think that's a terrible hot take because think about how many times a day do you check your phone?
I'm checking my phone, but it's not for wrestling headlines.
You don't have news like notification, like politics, sports, headlines?
I turn all that shit off.
Okay.
I don't do it, okay? Because seriously, if I had that, I would not have a job.
Well,
I would not have friends and family. Okay.
I feel like that's just maybe that applies to you, but like if I did like a quick chat poll, like maybe people aren't using Google News, but they're on Twitter, they're on Facebook. To say that you're not
some form,
but to say like it's really hard to escape stuff that gets out, and especially in wrestling, I've had to learn to adapt to it quite a bit.
I will
news
never
travels.
Forget.
Okay, go yeah.
No, I mean, I'll never forget. Haven't you gone to plenty of live wrestling events and people asking open questions about what's happening when it's been online and been news for well over 5 to 6 months?
Yeah, it's happened at times, but I think that the people that ask that versus that don't, or the percentage is way different now. Just because news travels so much faster, especially with Twitter, like. It's crazy now. Like before, it was the big wrestling sites that would get this news out, and occasionally, like they still will with the scoops and stuff. But when stuff happens at WWE shows because of Twitter, it's out there immediately. Because
I think Frank is right now saying it the best in the chat room. I don't obsess over wrestling.
No, and I'm not saying, and to me, you don't really have to obsess over wrestling for that stuff because what Google does is it just realizes what you're reading through your browser.
Right.
Or Facebook figures that out, or Twitter figures that out, or Instagram figures that out. I mean, it's just all algorithms. And to say that,
I guess I've gone out. I guess I've gone deeper into those apps.
Okay.
So that I turn that shit off.
Okay, and you can. That's the thing. You can go into those things. You're right. You can go in and do that, but as Brian Farmer just said, it tracks you. You don't have to do anything. Like it realizes, oh, Doug, you have the word wrestle in your title. You must be interested in wrestling. Here's some headlines that you might find it. Like I'm not actively asking for these things to show up in my Google feed. It just does because it knows I read wrestling stuff, and it doesn't mean I'm obsessed with it. It brings up Dallas Cowboy stuff. It knows because it studies your habits. It's the algorithm. But going back to what we were talking about, with the Shield and with Dean Ambrose, you're right. We really don't know at the end of the day. So it seems fishy for them to be talking about it on television the way they are so casually. But they did say end of an era tonight. They're saying if you were expecting to see the Shield ever again, it's done. Again, it's wrestling. Never say never. I know that stuff. You take things at face value with wrestling. But do you think this is the last time that we've seen the Shield?
No.
Okay, and I don't either, but
yeah,
it's how they positioned it this evening. I had the shot up earlier there where Everyone's doing the fisting and one last time, Douglas.
That's disgusting, Adam.
It's disgusting. It's filthy. What did you think of the match tonight? I thought Roman looked pretty good.
That was a fun little garbage brawl.
Yeah.
That nice little fun. I mean, it was a typical 6-man tag Shield match.
Yeah.
That we've seen from the boys against them, and you can bring up all of the great matches that they've had with other 3-man teams, Wyatt family, and let me see, Usos paired up with others. They've had I think Sheamus is part of one team. So many teams have gone up against these guys, and they've always been fun. Nothing bad to say about the match, and you call it a nostalgia match. That's what it was. You shouldn't have really a reason to complain about it beyond the working of a news item. That try to cancel that out and just take this match at face value. It was a fun match. And told really great stories about the 3 that they were going up against, and how they were actually this Baron, Bobby, and Drew that I call Belle Biv DeVoe. That's
a good name.
Well, yeah, BBD.
Yeah.
These, of all the teams that the Shield has gone up against, this seemed to be like the one team that everyone's like, oh, wait a minute. Based on what we've seen on Raw and what these jokers are doing, this is not your typical, okay, the Shield's just going to run roughshod over them. So it made for a fun match.
It did.
I think.
I guess my only I'm sure people were upset that Baron Corbin was main eventing a pay-per-view because they just, there's a lot of Baron Corbin hatred.
Can we talk? Okay, I'd like to talk about this.
About Baron?
Yes, I would like to talk about Baron Corbin.
Can we talk about him sliding through a big boot from Roman Reigns and not selling it and then coming in and taking it? I don't know. That was kind of, I wish I could get a gif of that, but
I'd like to talk about just how there are good things about him.
Okay,
there are good things about him. Number one, he has the greatest cutoff spots.
He does.
He has some fantastic cutoff spots. He's got a look that no one else has, and I'm not talking about his wardrobe selection. Okay? He has a place on this roster. He has a place to do things. To be angry that he's on the main event, shut your face.
That was just me ranting. I didn't really see anybody say that. I was like, oof, they're putting old Baron here.
Here's some things you do need to realize, though, about the show that you really should kind of put into perspective here. We had no Fonz.
Yes.
We had no Fonz Balor. We had no Braun Strowman.
Yes.
2 of the major characters of Monday Night Raw were not on this show.
They promoted it for tomorrow night that Finn's going to be defending this title, but no Fonz.
Yeah. I was about to say no AJ Styles, but he did make a cameo appearance.
Smacked old Randall on the face. Did it surprise? I didn't even really think about this, but 2012 was when the Shield debuted. Now, granted, it was towards the end of the year. It was like November 2012.
Yeah,
but
Survivor Series. Yeah.
What is that, like 7 years ago? My math is right.
Yeah, about 6.5. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a long time. And granted, they haven't been doing the Shield thing the entire time. They've broken off and separated and done their own thing.
These jokers have been with the company for 6.5 years.
They've been, for a long time, but they've came back. What was it 2 years ago they went back to the Shield, and then Roman got the measles or the mumps or something like that?
Yeah, he got the mumps. Then they brought out Kurt Angle.
And then Triple H was doing stuff with the Shield in like Europe for a while. He was dressing like, it was just weird. There was Kurt and Triple H doing it, but yeah, I know Bronx had the same reaction I did. 2012, I feel old now, but that was...
y'all need to just shut up.
Everyone's feeling old these days.
Everyone's feeling old because you're reminded of how old everything is. Don't it suck?
It does. It happens. Happens to the best of you.
Yeah.
I want to badly talk about... how bad things have been going with Ronda Rousey. I don't know how you feel about it, but have you been watching the reaction to her video? I did not even report it on Wrestleview because I thought it was silly, and I thought it actually, the second I watched it, I thought of knowing you're being worked and, your
yeah.
Lines. So I knew what she was doing. I didn't really have a problem with what she was doing. I had a problem with the execution of it. I thought it was bad.
that her hair was being put in rollers.
Well, and I joked on Twitter, she's being fed grapes, but I understand her character now does not like the WWE universe anymore. I get that. But to just go like full bore like that and then not really have like a plan as you're talking, I know Ronda struggles on the mic a little bit. But to just start going hard, as someone's combing your hair and taking makeup off your face and then to use the work line. And I said on Twitter today, that's like the equivalent. If you've ever seen the movie Harold and Kumar, at the very end, when the guy that works with Harold insults him and Harold calls him a cockboy and the guy freezes because he doesn't know how to respond to the insult. So then he calls Harold cockboy and he goes, "You're just stalling because you don't know what to say." Whenever a wrestler uses the word mark, I'm like, oh, they don't know what to say. That's just a quick little, oh, you're a mark. It's like, well, wrestlers to me are the biggest marks of anybody because they're actually volunteering their bodies and their time to, do this. But the execution I thought was silly. I don't know what someone, I wish I could give them credit. Maybe I'll find it on Twitter, but someone said this entire thing, Doug, just feels like it's just gone like blown up and it's been terrible. Like, I remember that night after the Rumble, how great that was between Ronda and Becky. And then just think about the timeline of events that they've done since then. And it just feels like honestly, I feel like it's in a worse place than it was a couple weeks ago. I don't know how they screwed this up. I don't know if it was because they're trying to push the Vince storyline, which I think has promise, of old man Vince, superseding Shane and Stephanie and Triple H. But I don't know how you feel about it, but it just feels like it's gone off the tracks for me.
Have you ever gotten or know someone who has ever gotten an item or purchased an item and it's a really great item, like say a car? They get a car and it's a nice, sensible automobile, great gas mileage, great seats, great feel, great everything. But he's also one of these car mod junkies. Yeah. It's like, I'll bet I can make this thing better. So he touches up the paint. Oh, I bet I can make it better. So he puts a different stereo in. I bet I'll make it better. He changes the shocks himself. I bet I can make it better. Makes his own sunroof out of a saw. Bet I can make it even better. He adds wingtips to the rear of the car. Okay. And now it looks like a piece of shit. Okay. That's what this is. Now, am I saying that they should have stuck with Becky and Ronda? No. They could insert Charlotte in this and it would still be fine. No problem. My biggest problem with this is that there's too much going on outside of the regular triple threat that you could have had that is just muddying this all up and making it way too confusing. Mm-hmm. Okay. WrestleMania is coming up. This is going to be the main event. And when we all know WrestleMania is the one time you can invite everyone over who does not watch wrestling to try to rope them in, to try to convince them that this is why you enjoy this shit. Okay? I bring up matches like Rusev and Cena from San Francisco. God, easy to latch on to. Cold War USA versus Russia. Easy to latch on to. Okay? This kind of match, how are you going to explain this?
I don't know. It's going to be rough.
Okay? And I'm not just saying that. You got to understand that Ronda pulled a swerve so hard you're going to have to see your chiropractor tomorrow because your neck hurts from how quick the jump was. Okay? No. But also, for how long is Becky's knee going to be bad?
Well, yeah, I was thinking that
this is getting ridiculous.
Like her knee's bad. Why is she trying to fight for a title shot she already earned by winning the Royal Rumble? I know that Vince has deemed her not worthy. There's suspensions. I don't know. There's a lot. Would you believe the most stable character in this whole thing is Charlotte? Yeah,
and she's hardly saying jack.
And she's supposed to be the heel now, but now Ronda's
she's supposed to be the bad one.
Yeah, now Ronda's a heel. I actually thought Charlotte's stuff. She's benefited the most actually from this, which is funny. Can we also talk about how terrible Ronda's punch looked? Watch this when she gets in. I think she slipped or something because her left ankle kind of buckled. But she slid in and just went boom. And granted, she kind of landed it. It didn't look terrible, but it was just kind of it was definitely. I've never seen one like this before. So I'll give her credit.
She was doing a Roman Reigns punch to the ground.
She was. I don't want to be too overly critical.
Well, you should, because she doesn't do it for reals anymore.
Well, it maybe, but and that was always my biggest fear, actually, watching Ronda. I'm like, she's used to actually punching. She wasn't very good at boxing, but she's used to hitting people for real. Yeah. I was curious how that was going to transition when you have to pull your punches, but boom. I mean, it just was it was random. I thought it was
and here's the other thing, too. Strange. So Ronda Rousey comes into the ring, she punches Becky, ends the match, and Becky wins a disqualification.
Yeah.
Okay. Why in the hell isn't someone beating the hell out of someone else right now?
I don't know. It was.
Why is everyone like Ronda's, walking away, strutting her stuff, scowl on her face that could curdle chowder.
Yeah.
And Becky's smirking like, well, hey, I guess I won. What you gonna do?
And then
Charlotte's standing there, go like, well, what the?
The referee was confused. He was like, "What? Why didn't the referee call for the bell as soon as he saw her?" Like, it was awkward. So
they were trying to get everyone's gasps in before the actual action.
Yeah, I guess it just, like Brian Farmer said, smart booking, bad execution. Yeah, it just kind of. I bet this sounded really good in a conversation, and then once they had to actually go out there and execute it, it just, I don't know. It was weird. I didn't particularly like it, but.
Why wasn't someone beating the shit out of someone? I don't care who.
And then why build it up like, again, I'm trying my best to not tear apart the finish, because we all knew Becky was going to get added to this main event if it's going to be a main event.
Yeah.
But maybe they just couldn't figure out how to get there necessarily, so they just decided, hey, let's just have Ronda run out there and punch her in the boob, and there you go, match is over.
Becky better not be on TV for the next 3 weeks. And all we're getting are shots of her doing water aerobics to rehab her knee, so that the go-home WrestleMania Raw, she actually does something.
Can she do the Shawn Michaels, gets a trainer, trains for the Iron Man match? Maybe Becky can, something like that.
Yes.
I just love, Doug, that what you just said that came out of your mouth. We only have to wait 4 weeks. Usually it's like, oh, what are they going to do, Doug? 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 4 weeks till WrestleMania, which, I like this strategy this year. But
Same here. Just a month.
What was the gap last year?
I thought it was almost the same. It might have been 5.
Was it 5? Okay.
I think it was a 5-week gap last year.
Okay. Well, I thought it was, it was better. 6 weeks. 6 weeks, 7 weeks. I'll take 4. Sounds more fun.
4 sounds good to me. 3 is, it's a little iffy.
Yeah, just a little bit. So I'm looking at the show. A lot happened on this show. There's one more thing I want to talk about, and then we can kind of bounce around after that. But WWE Championship match.
Yeah.
So they had some fun tonight. They initially
a lot of fun.
So if you didn't see it, during the kickoff show, the McMahon family said they wanted to talk to Kofi Kingston backstage. Mm-hmm. So he waits, he continues to wait. Then the show actually begins. He's still waiting. Eventually, Big E, Xavier Woods walk backstage, and they say, well, what are you doing? Are you still waiting? And Kofi has to reluctantly apply, yes, I'm still waiting. So they just decide to barge into Vince's office, and Vince is sitting there on the phone, and he decides to, he obviously gets talked into.
Well, first he says, like, well, I've been waiting for you.
Yeah, he's like, what are you doing? I've been waiting for you. But he gets convinced by Big E and Xavier Woods that Kofi should be added to the triple threat tonight for the WWE Championship. So Vince has this big smile. Well, of course he should. Absolutely. And by the way, Kofi, the match is starting right now. So Kofi walks to the ring and he has a match, but it turns out it's with the Bar. Now, I might sound like an idiot admitting this, but I was under the impression, because they made the announcement, the WWE Championship match is later tonight. So I thought, okay, they're going to have Kofi have a match tonight. He's going to get roughed up by the Bar, which means it's going to put him at a disadvantage for the triple threat tonight. But no, he was just going to have this match, and that was it. And he got beat by Sheamus and Cesaro. Rusev and Nakamura got involved a little bit too, but that was it. And the commentary said that afterwards. Todd Phillips. Too many Todds.
You are really old.
I know, that was a Todd Grisham call out right there. But he said, he goes, well, that's all she wrote for Kofi Kingston tonight. And then as the WWE Championship match starts, the announcer says, the following contest is a triple threat match for the WWE Championship. And I immediately was like, what? You just said that. And then it turns out Mustafa Ali got the shot because he was supposed to be in the chamber. got injured, was replaced by Kofi, so it makes sense to, come full circle. But
right.
old boy Douglas, did Cleveland want none of Mustafa Ali? They the silence. If you have a network subscription, go back and listen to the silence that Mustafa Ali received.
Oh yes,
awkward. And then the crowd started chanting, "We want Kofi." I mean, obviously, the good aspect of this is what they're doing is working. They're building sympathy and continuing to build sympathy for Kofi, and they're doing something very similar to what they did with Daniel Bryan. So this is very intentional. This is on purpose. We know what they're doing. But how would you like to be Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens and Mustafa Ali tonight? I mean, that made it rough for them. Now, granted, I think they got past it. I don't know if you feel the same.
I think they got way past it. They're perfectly fine with this.
Yeah. They got past it, but
they basically go, we could do whatever the hell we want in this match. They aren't paying attention to us.
Pretty much. That's exactly what happened. But
yeah.
But I thought it went pretty well. There's nothing that really super stands out to me about the match. I mean, there was a lot of crazy spots and stuff.
A lot of stupid spots.
Yeah. The drop kick, which I wish I got the slow-mo replay of. I'm going to dial this up on the screen here, Doug. The drop kick that Daniel Bryan hits. Watch this. Boom.
Oh, yes.
And the angle at which Mustafa hit his shoulder, I thought, oh boy, that's not good. But they had a better slow-mo version of it. So if you have a network subscription and you did see the match, you can fast forward and see that. But boom, man, he landed with a thud. He took some nasty bumps. He did like a splash onto Daniel Bryan at one point too, I think. I don't remember if that was in this. Yeah, here it is right here. He right over the ring apron too. So bam, it just lands. And God, man, just the thought of your knees smacking that ring apron, because that obviously the ring doesn't have a lot of give, but the very corners there, I mean, that has to hurt pretty bad. So
oh yeah,
he did some crazy spots tonight, but they obviously, they went with D Bry, and I kind of thought that's what they were going to do. Captain Planet, as we'd like to call him now.
Yeah.
But is the obvious direction now, okay, so we got through this match. Kevin Owens is back. He gets his title shot. He doesn't win. We make it up to Mustafa Ali for getting injured and coming back. But it's very clear Kofi Kingston is the plan, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess things that I'm kind of taking away from this match. Number one, Daniel Bryan is going to be champion for a very long time. Okay, I mean very long time. Not just because they redid this belt and the graphics are effing amazing and everything.
Wonderful.
There is no other heel character like this one right now that has been so well crafted, so well articulated. It's just brilliant. And this is a character that I cannot imagine what this character will be like when he is not champion. I can't just imagine this. So first off, Daniel Bryan's going to be champion for a very, very, very long time. Okay. Kevin Owens feels weird to me.
It's like a baby face a little bit.
I really don't want to go as concrete to saying baby face or heel or using, the great wrestling terminologies that Ronda likes to use on us. But, so the guy's gone for 7 to 8 months, had cleanup surgery on both of his knees.
Yeah.
And he's giving us the updates on the Twitter about himself. Okay. Apparently, they are hoping that all of us have forgotten what the Kevin Owens character was. And so this is a repackaging. This is a rebranding of the Kevin Owens character. We are now supposed to care that he cares about his family. We are now supposed to care that he cares so much. Okay? This is really tough to come by. All right? This is really tough to pull off, to have us care about you caring. Okay? After you've been gone for so long. And all we have to ride on this are four selfie videos that he made of going bowling with his kid, going to the movies with his kid, and denouncing Hawaiian pizza. Okay, now we're just supposed to like him. Okay, I am thoroughly confused about what the hell Kevin Owens is. Okay, I used to be confused about what Dean Ambrose was. This one really confuses me.
Yeah, it's very weird.
And on top of all that, we have the bump machine, Mustafa Ali.
Took some big ones. Did you see the screen I just put up? The finish when
Oh yeah,
when Bryan did and thank you to Bronx. He tweeted this at me. At Adam Wrestleview, by the way, if you want to tweet something at us.
the knee in midair. Good job.
And the way the twisting in which Ali was doing, because Ali, did he do a flip off the corner or he was off the top?
He was off the top. He was going to be doing his little 540 thingy.
Yeah, that was intense. So, look at that. Look at that elevation. So, yeah, he took some pretty crazy bumps tonight. He was bumping.
I hate the Spanish Fly as much as I hate the Tower of Doom.
That's not possible. The Tower
Spanish Fly makes no sense whatsoever.
Every time there's a Tower of Doom, my Twitter and Facebook lights up. It's hilarious. I should have. I brought it on myself because I always talk about how stupid that is. But yeah, that was pretty funny. But yeah, But
what is going on with Kofi? I'm imagining there's going to be a fatal 4-way. Of some kind.
There'll be something. Or do they just straight up do Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania? Because
I will be shocked if they do straight up Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston.
Okay.
I'll be really shocked if that happens. But I've got WrestleMania is all about nowadays. And back then it used to be about the epoch one-on-one matches. You know.
Yeah.
Now it's all about the clusterfucks.
Pretty much. That's what it's turned into quite a bit.
Yeah. What clusterfuck matches are we going to be having here? We're going to have 2 battle royals. We're going to have a bunch of tag team multi-man clusterfucks. Your mid-card titles may have some clusterfucks in them, you know, and even your major titles will have clusterfucks. Just so as many people can get on this card as possible.
Just to be sure. Do you remember the tweet you mentioned to me before we went on the air tonight? What Big E said?
Oh,
about
Big
Kofi?
E, yeah.
So Big E tweeted, "This doing the right thing clearly ain't it. Maybe we need to knock over a liquor store or something to be a star here. Please send me your petty crime suggestions." And Randy Orton retweeted that just now and said, "DM me." So they're all having fun backstage tonight. I love what is this image? Is it Big E kicking Vince McMahon in the face? Or oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Twitter is an interesting place. Some of these replies of just the GIFs and Randy licking his lips and oh boy, there is I don't know where do people find these GIFs? There's no possible way these GIFs are just sitting on Giphy. Like I don't know. People are
no. What they do is they first off find them, I guess, and then they get the link and all of that good stuff.
People are silly gooses. So
I don't obsess over wrestling like
you
some
don't.
People.
Apparently, I'm obsessed with wrestling, not like the old website, but yeah.
But Doug, you perform on a wrestling news website. Well, I provide a different viewpoint.
Let me tell you something. Doug barely knew what a Dave Meltzer was like 5 years ago, so that should give you just an introduction of what. Yeah, that would honestly,
I am a breath of fresh air.
It was because we were used to having the same conversations, and not that Hunter and I had, because Hunter always was very, he would deviate quite a bit from opinion wise, but he knew kind of. I didn't have to say much. Like if I said he knew, but with you we're like, what's a Dave Meltzer?
Yeah, the hell are you guys talking about?
What do you mean? Like, because I remember one time you're like, you guys are just making these statements as if everyone knows what you're talking about. And I was like, well, I'm pretty sure that's what everybody knows. And you're like, no, actually they don't. What are you talking about?
They don't.
I don't know what you're saying. So we talked about what I thought were the top 3 matches. Do we want to talk about Shane turning on the Miz tonight?
Well, let's just make some quick points, and we can just kind of go chronologically.
I wish I could play the Miz's his dad's Titantron. I'd get kicked off YouTube. But
no, we can't do that.
If you want to, just YouTube the Miz's dad Titantron, and it's just this wonderful looping Titantron of the Miz's dad. It's incredibly stupid, but it makes me smile every time I see it. I'm trying to dial up some of the Giphies that took place when, but basically Shane and the Miz lost again to the Usos. Miz's dad was at ringside tonight, and Shane was not pleased. He was a little pissed, Doug. So
yeah,
I know like on the commentary, Corey Graves is like, well, Shane's had it. He's done with this. But then later, Corey's like, yeah, maybe Shane took it a little too far because he beat the shit out of Miz, put him in a submission, choked him out. Then he kind of like face palmed or face Rolfed, as you always say.
Yeah, he kind of Rolfed his dad.
He did Rolf his dad a little bit. He pushed him down, but and then they asked him later in the show to get a reaction, and he just kind of shut the door in the face. So Yeah, so I don't know if that means like he's just done wrestling, because Shane's been wrestling way more often than usually. It was like he'd have the WrestleMania match. He was the Lord and Savior the year he came back when he faced the Undertaker. When was that the year that John Cena got hurt, or who got hurt and they had to?
No, that was the year Cena. That was the year. Yes, Cena got hurt.
I thought it was the year Cena got hurt, so they panicked and they brought in Shane to face the Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell.
Yes, it was. Yeah, Cena was hurt. Okay. Yeah.
See, my memory's not that terrible. I always think it is.
You just need confirmation.
I just need confirmation bias. Exactly. So yeah, he's a bad guy now. I don't know what that means for his television character, because he's technically running SmackDown still, I guess, but now it's Shane. And Triple H
it's
Vince,
run by the collective.
It's the McMahon family, as the little sign said on the door. So yeah.
And it's. Let me see. Yeah, don't turn on Shane. There will be hell to pay, but Shane can turn on you. That's no problem. That's how the character goes.
Did you?
So Shane and The Miz at WrestleMania.
That's kind of what I was alluding to next. And the chat was saying it was weird to see The Miz as a babyface. It sure was.
Yes.
That's strange.
But
no, they're in Cleveland, but he always would come out in Cleveland and say, "There's a reason why I left Cleveland and moved to Los Angeles." He's not even in Los Angeles anymore. He's in like Austin, Texas or something.
Yeah,
now.
he's in Texas somewhere now.
Yeah, but
the guy has a successful television show.
He sure does.
Which is actually pretty good. I mean, it's really funny.
Of course, Victoria chimes in. Miz is the best.
Oh, hi, Victoria.
Hi, Victoria.
Welcome to the show.
Victoria's
glad you woke up.
Victoria's our resident Miz fan and the supporter of the Mizes, and the Maurices. But it was just weird to see him as a face. Like, he had the Cleveland shirt. It was just, and it's just strange because I'm used to seeing bad guy Miz. So when he was being cheered for offense and but how fucking great are the Usos, man? I love the Usos. They're just so great. They're so awesome.
I kind of. Well, the one thing is, this coming Wednesday, I will be holding a session with Mike Tedesco from our Monday Night Raw reviews here. I will be holding my first session with him of Fantasy Booking 101. Okay, to where you can effectively fantasy book anything in professional wrestling and not sound like a complete goof. Okay, where you know when to pump the brakes and know when something could happen or should happen, and let time be your friend. One of the big things I've booked for WrestleMania, and I booked it last week after making some changes because I thought the SmackDown Tag Team titles was going to be a clusterfuck match. I don't think it's going to be a clusterfuck match.
You thought the match tonight was going to be a clusterfuck, or
well, I'm thinking the WrestleMania,
okay,
match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles that the Usos have. I thought it was going to be full of clusterfuckery.
Do you have that on the whiteboard?
I got it on the whiteboard. I got I'm going to have the Usos going against the Hardys.
Ooh, well, that does make sense because of that came out of nowhere too. Where all of a sudden Matt's back on television and they cut this promo backstage where he's like, "Yeah, I've been able to control the whole Woken part of my life, and now we're looking at the SmackDown tag titles." So essentially what happened, and I know you talked about this in Wrestleview Weekly, but they signed a 2-year deal, and it had an option for a third, and it rolled over to the third. So they're going to be around for at least another year. Mm-hmm. So why not go after the SmackDown? And by the way, what a better show to be champions of, which is going to be a show that's going to be on Fox in October. So I would almost kind of let's milk that thing till October hits. Let's have the Hardys, unless people are going to not like the idea of an older tag team, on modern television. But
well, not just that. I mean, just a team to kind of, the old guys to keep everything in check.
Sure. I'd be fine with that.
That's the best way to put it,
Yeah, I'd be cool with that. Works for me. But
Yep.
A little surprised they're back, but they are, because there's been an ongoing joke on Twitter, Doug, of Matt, I wouldn't say faking an injury, but finding a way to get out of the tag team with Bray Wyatt because it was just kind of going nowhere after a while. So they're like, kudos to Matt for faking it. He was hurt though. He was talking about his lower back.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at Matt Hardy. I mean, he's talked about for years how bad his lower back was and all the bumps he took, and the leg drop off the second rope is majority.
How often he did it?
Oh, a ton, just a ton.
So I mean, I don't fault anything. He's not working anything when it comes to how badly he hurts. Just look at him walk.
Yeah,
that's all you got to do.
Absolutely. What else was on the show that we wanted to talk about?
The
Asuka and
botcha, the tag team match that was not so good.
the tag team match, which was the triple threat.
No, the vagina tag team match.
Oh, the Sasha Banks, Bailey, Nia Jax.
Yeah,
that was a rough one, and a lot of that was Nia Jax, though. I'll be honest. Sasha looked
a lot
good.
of it was Tamina too.
Bailey looked good. It was a lot of Nia and Tamina, and there was a moment where I'm sure nobody gifted because it was a botch, but I'm sure it'll be on Botchamania. But they tried to do Tamina lifting Sasha, I think it was Sasha, onto the shoulders of Nia, who just completely botched it, and I thought Nia almost broke her leg or ankle because of the angle at which she came down, but then she just blasted through it. But yeah, Nia Jax is, there's moments where you see like, okay, this is gonna work, and then there's other times where you see that and you're like, oh no, this is just not good, not good.
All of it was not good.
Yeah, but what do you think of the Beth? It feels like they're teasing a Beth Phoenix return to the ring at WrestleMania thing.
It sounds like it's a tease for a one-off.
Yeah, one-off or something like that. Yeah.
Sounds like it's a tease for a one-off. You want to have Sasha Banks and Bailey going against Natalya and Beth Phoenix?
Yeah.
Sure.
Why
not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
You want to have it my only thing is this a pre-show or a main show match?
Well, I mean, think about how long that show is. So, I mean, it's probably going to be on the main show.
Oh, Christ, it's going to be 5 hours long.
Yeah. It's going to be a long
7 to midnight. Jesus Christ.
It's going to be a long show. We need to strap in. We need to just mentally prepare ourselves.
We've got to really prepare ourselves for the next 4 weeks for this one.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one. So it's been the new case. The triple threat for the tag titles I thought was pretty interesting. The Revival just...
What is it, honey?
The Revival, man. I don't get it.
What don't you get?
Why are they champions?
Because they have belts and they won them.
I like the concept of the Revival, but when it just what is that doing? I mean, is it people that love them in NXT that think they deserve to be champions, or I don't know. Like even Bobby Roode Bobby Roode's a good wrestler. Chad Gable's a good wrestler. Why are these guys a tag team? Just something to do. Ricochet and Aleister Black, very good individually. Not sure why they're a tag team. I don't know. It just kind of, yes, there's new names and it feels fresh, but even with these fresh names, it still feels like the tag team division is just people doing stuff. I don't get it.
Well, it needs to be understood from the get-go, okay? And I'm not getting on this whole tag division differences and bullshit and blah, 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 blah. When SmackDown moved to being live, they needed to bolster its roster. And what was the easiest, most effective way to have an engaging product on this new live SmackDown product? Tag team wrestling. Let's get all of the good tag teams on this show that can put together matches that are 20 to 25 minutes long at a time so that we don't have to write so much and work so much on this 2-hour live broadcast that, by God, the day before we worked for a 3-hour live broadcast. God, we're fucking burnt out. Okay? So we throw the Bar, Usos, New Day. We throw the big three on there. We've got Gallows and Anderson in there to do stuff until Anderson knocks up his wife for a 4th kid and they want to go on a boat cruise or something like that. Then they don't want to be on TV anymore. And we can make some other tag teams out of thin air. It's no big deal. You know, on Raw, we're too busy with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman and all of our single acts that we don't have enough time to work on a tag division. So they're just going to be filler. It's just going to be 5 or 10 minute long matches. You don't need to know why they hate each other. It's just a belt. That's all it is.
Just filler. Okay.
It's all it is. It is nothing to invest yourself into.
I see the Usos and I'm like, okay. And then I see the Rival. I'm like, all right, what?
Well, I mean, it's all based off, again, who they're always paired off against every week.
Yeah, they need to really freshen that thing up a little bit.
That's kind of what I'm looking at with the Superstar shakeup. There's going to be a lot of shifting around going on.
maybe bring some tag teams up from NXT just to have some tag teams. Or just, I hate the like, hey, he's not doing anything, Doug. He's not doing anything. Let's just put these guys together.
My problem is that they have effective tag teams. It's just they need to shuffle them around.
Badly, they need to shuffle them around. Big time. Big time.
You have capable bodies. They just need to be maybe repackaged or given a shuffle, or just keep them off TV for a while.
Yeah, or just give them a rest, or maybe don't even like. Okay, here's the concept of the women's tag titles. I do like because they're traveling around. They're going to Raw. They're going to SmackDown. They're going to NXT. They could show up in NXT UK. Have these champions. This is the entire point of what Triple H is trying to do with this territory system that he's setting up. So when you have two sets of tag titles, just get rid of one. Have the tag champions travel around to Raw and SmackDown, NXT and NXT UK, and it just that they're going to be doing. Granted, the execution of the women's one hasn't been phenomenal, but it has potential. I see no potential with two sets of tag titles in the men's division. Zero. Just combine those fuckers again, and let's just.
There's a big difference, though, between the number of women that could vie for the women's tag team titles and the number of men that could vie for the tag team titles.
And that's a fair point, but it's not working the way it's working now. So you gotta make. I really hope in the Superstar Shakeup they do that. They're not going to, obviously.
No.
And I'm not going to get mad if they don't do it, unlike most dorks.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. You aren't the angry type of person.
No, never. Is there anything else, by the way? Because there wasn't. I love Samoa Joe as a monster heel. I think he's great. Love Joe.
Are you sure he's a heel?
Of course he is.
Everyone's cheering Joe.
Well, they say Joe, but yes, he's a heel. I'm biased though. I love.
They're saying Joe out of spite.
I love Joe. I love Joe every second. Of Joe.
I know you love Joe.
I'm a big Samoa. I could watch Samoa Joe beat people up all day. So
you need a beanbag chair shaped like Joe.
I do. I'd sit in it and be like, oh, I go,
someone
Joe,
make
Joe.
Adam a beanbag chair of Samoa Joe. He will just curl up in a fetal and take a nap on top of Samoa Joe's belly.
I would, and you know what I always think about too when his music hits and how you did the music. You did the. The tuba. I used to think that song sucked, but now I've embraced it. I'm like, oh, this is actually a really good theme song because it just fits.
That should be your entrance theme whenever you go to work.
He's Godzilla, man. He's just Godzilla. He's a Samoan Godzilla. Just the.
Yeah, when you look at him, you just think tuba.
Oh, it's so great. It's the Family Guy Stewie following the fat people with the brum 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 brum. Whoever made that song. It went over my head at first, and then I came back to it, and I was like, you know what? This is actually really, really good. It fits. It's perfect. So
you know what I'm fantasy booking for Samoa Joe?
What are you doing?
I haven't written it on the whiteboard, but it dawned on me after I queued off the air.
Do you have the whiteboard?
Samoa Joe is not going to be in a clusterfuck match for the U.S. title at WrestleMania.
Okay.
He's going to defend that fucker against a guy I think he should be healthy now, even though he missed the Royal Rumble.
Sami Zayn?
John Cena.
Oh, that would be interesting.
I mean, he mentioned him a lot when R-Truth was mentioning him as his childhood hero, and Samoa Joe.
I love that on commentary today where Corey Graves like, okay, R-Truth is like way older than John Cena. How could he be his childhood hero? And
I fucking love R-Truth.
I love R-Truth. He's just. Have you seen the tweet, the video on Twitter of people going to like Target or Walmart, going to the toy section, and he's
every single week.
He's
okay,
great.
He's doing it here in Charlotte.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Okay, it's here in Charlotte. He's doing it at Target. He goes to certain Targets with some of his friends, and they film the same goddamn video.
Oh, it's so wonderful. I love R-Truth.
It's great stuff. No, but Samoa Joe, John Cena.
Okay,
is what I'm looking at.
I could see that.
Just because this was a match we were supposed to get a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Until I think it was Samoa Joe had elbow surgery.
Yeah.
And missed out on it. And so they had something different.
Well, we did get Cena and Truth. Was it 2011? They did the little Jimmy stuff. It was, what was the Capital, what is it, Capital Punishment or something like that? I remember we were all laughing at the name of that pay-per-view, but
yeah, we were laughing at the poster too.
Yeah, was it in DC? It had to be in DC if they called it.
Yeah, it was in DC. Yeah.
But I honestly, I was kind of prepared for Cena to not wrestle at WrestleMania this year. But who knows? I'm sure he'll find a way. But
he's going to be the new Taker.
Yeah, because probably no Taker this year. This might be the first year we get no Taker.
Yeah.
Can't say I'm upset about that, but
well, I'm not sad about it either. I feel better that he's making 50 grand appearing somewhere and signing autographs.
That's right. He's making some cash. He's making that cash.
Yeah, he doesn't have to wreck his knees or his body or anything.
He's making that Conrad Thompson fuck you money right now, so might as well take it while you can, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
We certainly didn't get that, did we? But other people are getting that fuck you money from Conrad Thompson, but
they sure as hell are.
We should talk about that momentarily because I've had people tweet at me about it.
Oh, yeah.
Really quick, let's hit the poll question. It's 79% thumbs up. Douglas, what are you giving tonight? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
I'll give it a thumbs up. I'll throw it a bone. Okay. I thought the triple threat tag team match was fun. Okay. The Fatal 4-Way U.S. title match was fun. Shield match was fun. You can make fun of other stuff throughout the pay-per-view. That was a good show.
I was very close to giving it a thumbs down. I'll be honest.
Oh, believe me, I was too.
Very close. But I think the last half of the show picked up a little bit. So I love the opener. Got a little tiresome in the middle. But
I like how we got some shakeups within the show.
Yes,
there's
quite a bit of shakeups. Absolutely. Thumbs up, thumbs down, chat. What'd you think of the show tonight? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
You're not going in the middle. You're going to be banished from the chat room.
No thumbs in the middle. We do not accept the thumbs in the middle, as Doug has made very clear to us.
Take a stand.
Take a stand. Be a man. We'll let so a lot of thumbs up coming in. Shifty Gism did the middle of the road. How dare you, Shifty Gism? How dare you?
Well, that's why you don't have any friends.
Exactly. But we're getting some majority thumbs up. So it looks like a lot of people like the show this evening.
Yeah.
So we have 4 weeks until WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
There was one thing I wanted to talk about before two things maybe. I'll see if Doug lets me do the second. I've had a lot of people tweeting, DMing me, Facebook tagging me about stuff involving Starrcast. And I know Doug actually, and I don't remember what episode it was. It was a few months ago maybe, but you did an episode of Wrestleview Weekly talking about this a little bit.
Yes.
And I think it was maybe around the time that they announced Double or Nothing and people were asking if we were going to be going to Vegas and being part of Starrcast around that time. So if you noticed after we did Starrcast, outside of maybe that first post week of shows because you were doing Wrestleview Weekly at the time, right? Were you?
Mm-hmm. But sure was. Yeah, I was in the thick of it. I was in the middle of it. Yeah.
It was on Twitch though. It wasn't on YouTube yet.
Yeah, I had not made the switch to YouTube yet.
Okay. I know Mike talked about it a little bit on his show. But we were a little quiet about it, and that was because I had privately told some people what our experience was like. And then we just kind of left it at that. I didn't really think I needed to do a shooty promo because I can't stand the YouTube guys are cutting promos in their webcam and they think they're fucking awesome and I'm gonna shoot, and I always think of the Paul Heyman.
Yeah, these are all people that wish they were professional wrestlers.
Yeah, it's just cheesy.
Yeah.
But so we kind of stay quiet about it. But I've noticed in the last couple months there's been more people talking about it and why some people are not going to be part of Starrcast this year in May. I want to say first and foremost, I hope it's successful. I'm sure it will be successful again. Obviously, AEW is doing fine. They sold out the MGM Grand. But there's always this fine line of Conrad Thompson saying, I am not affiliated with AEW. This is something that I'm partnering with them, but we're not affiliated together. We're not in the same group, which could be the case. I don't know for sure, but we'll never really know because it's not publicly traded. The reason basically we're not going to be a part of it this year is I was lied to. So was Doug. So was Mike. Initially, when I showed interest in being part of this convention, I inquired from a media standpoint, and I want to give credit. Sandro sent me a clip on YouTube, and what I'll do is I'll put the link in the description of this show out when we're done. But Sandro sent me a DM and I've heard of Don Tony. It was a show. Don Tony and Mish, they do a show called The Breakfast Soup, and they did like a 7-8 minute segment about Starrcast. Mm-hmm. And Mish was talking about, because he's in like sports media, and he was talking about how if you're in the media and you go to a show, you're given press passes, maybe a care package of some sort. But you're media. So you go to the show, you cover the show, you either write about it or you podcast about it or you interview, whatever the case might be.
You are there to not just report, but to promote.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what it is.
And then Don Tony was coming from the perspective of, well, if this isn't truly affiliated with AEW, why not try to make some money off of smaller podcasts, because you don't want to have a section for just established media and then a section for lower rent, and they could kind of mix and mingle. And I'll put the description. You can listen to the full segment. I don't want to take them out of context, because that happens a lot where you take someone out of context and they get pissed. But I encourage you to listen to it. I'll put it in the description. But basically, Don Tony was saying it made sense for Conrad to do what he did because he wanted to make some money off of these podcasts. Mm-hmm. Maybe not the smartest idea to tell them that they're going to be grow an audience because of it. But if they want to be a part of Podcast Row, they have to pay. So this is where I was lied to. I was told there would be no media, traditional media passes, no media section, no media area, nothing. And that the only way Wrestleview could be involved, or any wrestling media for that matter, is you had to be a part of Podcast Row. And I told them, well, we don't really have a podcast per se. Like, we do shows reacting to pay-per-views. We have people reacting to television shows, or we have someone like Doug that just reacts.
We recap news.
Yeah, we're not a podcast, because like a podcast has like a name under one brand. It has a website. It has one feed. Like, we have so many shows a part of our feed that we don't just have like a podcast really. So I explained this to the person who was organizing it, and then I also explained this to Conrad Thompson. And he's like, yeah, I understand, but this is how we're doing it. And I said, okay, I'll play ball. I'll pay your fee. I had to pay a fee for Wrestleview to be there. I had to pay a fee for Doug to be there, and I had to pay a fee for Mike to be there. We spent a bunch of money. If you notice, we made these big fancy poster boards. We had shirts made. We had business cards made. I thought, you know what, this kind of, I told Conrad, I said, this feels like a trade show a little bit. So, and I've been to trade shows. So I thought, okay, I'll play ball a little bit. And then when I get to the actual show, and Goosey will know exactly what I'm talking about. Goosey was sitting at the bar at the hotel where they did this at. And I told him, I said, I just walked up the stairs and there's this big sticker on the wall that says media check-in. And I thought, oh, that's where the Podcast Row people check in. So I walk into the room, and I immediately see the social media coordinator there. And I said, why is there a media? Is this where the Podcast Row? He goes, no. Podcast Row people come with me. So I follow him to a room that stunk of marijuana. And obviously he told me some wrestlers had been in there smoking. The drug bear that the B and the Elite guys use, like the costume was in there, and all that stuff. But he gives me passes for the week. He said, here's your pass, here's Doug's pass, and we had to write one for Mike because Mike was a late addition because we didn't know Mike was going to come. So, but this pass gave us access to every event that weekend, any stage show, the weigh-ins, anything. We could walk in. We didn't have to wait in line. But as Doug noticed and as Goosey noticed, even though people had bracelets, they were just walking into things that they shouldn't have been in because they didn't pay for it. So it was a little disorganized. And Conrad told me privately he wanted to do a better job and hire better staff. And understandably, he was very overwhelmed. I will say this. Conrad was being held up for money by wrestlers. I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to say for how much. But he told me, and I felt really bad for him. I actually talked to him at like 2 a.m, like the second day, and Mike was there, and I could see it on his face. He was because the wrestlers got there, they saw how many people were there, and the hotel was sold out, and they knew how many people were going to All In. I think they went, oh, we want to ask more, we want to suck more money.
Yeah, we can get a piece of this fat money cake.
Exactly, and that's kind of what happened with a lot of these wrestlers because they had a combo of there was. Basically felt like a trade show for wrestling where there was event, and Goosey's talking about it in the chat, that there was vendor rooms and there was booths and tables, and it was all over the hotel. But there was a little section off to the side, this big hallway that was dedicated to Podcast Row. And I was told if we wanted to be involved, we had to be part of Podcast Row and we had to pay. Turned out that was not true. They had media there, media that was much smaller than Wrestleview. I mean, I could show you with graphs, analytics, everything.
Business cards,
everything. I mean, I could prove to you, and I'm not trying to do a pissing game because I know that there's websites much bigger than Wrestleview that were also there covering the show, like Wrestling Inc. Wrestling Inc. is the biggest wrestling website on the internet today. Don't let anybody tell you that they're not, because if they tell you that they're not, they don't know what they're talking about. They were there, but they hired like a freelancer to do interviews. But they were part of media. They were not part of Podcast Row. They were part of media. A person that does freelance for them was on Podcast Row, but Wrestling Inc. itself and WrestleZone and websites like that were credentialed as media, meaning they did not have to pay to be there. We did, because we were lied to. So at that point I decided, and I'm sure Doug noticed my demeanor had changed a little bit as the week started, because Doug's very good at picking up on my demeanor, especially when we went to WrestleMania a couple years ago. And
I'm good at picking up a lot of people's demeanors.
Yeah. So there was a reason why we didn't end up going into a lot of the stage shows, because I was a little upset that I was lied to. But at that point, we had already paid for the hotel. Doug and Mike had paid for airfare. We were there, so you can't just leave. We were there, you know.
Yeah.
We planned it out. It was Labor Day weekend. You can't just walk out and leave. But, and I don't know if that's going to be the case with Starrcast too. Maybe they realized that, they've changed that, but you can't tell me that Wrestleview was not worthy of being media credentialed, because as of right now, I have the option to be media credentialed to go backstage at Double or Nothing this May in Las Vegas. So you can't credential me for that and not credential me for Starrcast. It's just very silly. It was very, you know, I'm in touch with WWE's corporate communications. We can be credentialed at WWE events. It's just silly. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm not saying that to act like we're awesome. I'm just saying it to make a point. And that's why I felt, okay, we're not going to be involved with that stuff anymore. People that don't like us and people that are going to say bad things about us are going to hear that and try not to believe it. But I'm telling you the truth. I have no reason to lie to anybody about this stuff. I did decide initially to not talk about it. But then when I saw like the podcast with Disco Inferno and Conan talking about it, and Sandro sent me the clip of Don Tony and Mish talking about it, I thought, maybe we should say something now, because other people are talking about it and saying stuff about it. I'm not trying to attack Conrad Thompson. I'm not trying to attack Starrcast. I'm just putting factual information out there. But I'm sure Starrcast is going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be successful. They have Flair, Undertaker, Sting, tons of new names that are being brought in compared to last year.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, I just don't want to be affiliated with people that lie, and they lied to us. So we will not be covering Starrcast. We will not be affiliated with Starrcast. We're done. So, but it was a good experience. I had fun. We're not going to be doing it anymore.
No, I had a good experience too, and everything. It's just I'm kind of with you in the same boat here. Is that we cover news.
Yeah.
We're a news site.
Yeah.
Emphasis on news. Okay. We do not really wallow in gossip. We don't wallow in, you know, some fantasy booker's wet dream like this should have happened and this is what could have happened, or this is why this isn't happening, or hey, so-and-so isn't signing up because they're going to Jacksonville. Okay. We don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. And the purpose of the podcast that I have is, yes, I have my opinions on stuff, but it's all based around news. Okay. It's not based around opinion. And I have a feeling, and by God, it doesn't really shock me at all, in that there was a tier system with the media in Starrcast, to where you had what the definition of traditional media was, and podcasters. Okay. Apparently they did not know what our website dabbles in, because probably they never even looked at what our website does. Okay. They just saw podcasters. Boom. We are lumped in with podcasters who don't do the research, that don't go through the hassle of checking sources 2 or 3 times,
or even have an audience. I mean, these were small podcasts. I mean, these were, like, I've always said the comment, like, there's just too many wrestling shows out there. Oh boy, was I proved that in Chicago, of like, whoa, there's just a lot out there. And the thing is too, though, Doug, I also feel really bad for these podcasts that were kind of promised, like, oh, you're going to get all this exposure and you're going to be.
Oh, I feel so sorry for them.
They were. And the thing is, you were on the same call as me, man. And you saw the emails I saw. They were promising these podcasts, the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega and all these guys.
Gosh.
And I think the best most of them got was Bruce Pritchard and Eric Bischoff. And we were one of the people that interview Eric Bischoff. And then if you wanted interviews, we found out, as Mike talked about and what Mike ended up doing, Mike just walked around and had to grab people when they were available. There was nothing set up. And again, I think it comes down to a structure and organization standpoint. We saw how chaotic that area was. There's no way you're going to walk a wrestler through a sea of like 300 wrestling fans, because they're going to get swarmed, and they're not going to want to sit down at a table and talk to you, because they're going to be, unless there's like a secret area where you could all go, which I think would be a good idea to set up, like set up a media tent or a media area the way the Super Bowl does. That's actually the comparison they made. They said there's a media row at Super Bowl, and your podcast show is going to be like that. It obviously wasn't that, but it would be nice if they set something up, especially for the people that were paying as much as they did. It wasn't, breaking the bank for us, but I'm sure for other people that don't traditionally spend a lot of money on their podcast.
Oh gosh, I'm sure for someone who started up their podcast a year and a half, 2 years ago, they just put in a bunch of money that they could have actually saved up to buy a new car, and instead decided to go to this thing. I feel sorry for them, how they were heisted basically, but it's probably the closest experience they've had to a wrestling organization.
Yeah, probably.
It's probably one of the greatest experiences they've ever had in what they do, though they don't realize what they've been stood up with.
Absolutely. And
I'm not going to fault them for that. I'm not going to talk them down on how great or horrible their experience was. All that I can, I guess my big takeaway from it all is I think you should have been the one tossing bags of Cheetos at everyone, because you would have put a lot more torque into it. Okay.
I thought it was funny that you did that. You pissed off the people podcasting next to us, but
I'm sure they're doing great right now. I'm sure their fan base grew at least 2.
Well, I feel bad for those guys, because they were interviewing wrestlers, and I'm sure they were promised everything in the moon by Starrcast, and it didn't happen. And Andrew said, let's give Mike kudos. Absolutely. Mike deserves a ton of credit, because we had a technology snafu, and Mike just goes, okay, cool. I'm going to grab the recorder. I'm going to walk around. And he got a ton of interviews. So, yeah, kudos to Mike for that weekend. He did a really good job and kind of bailed us out a little bit.
I was too busy drinking and schmoozing with people off the record.
Yeah, and that's kind of fun too, to just kind of talk shit and talk shop. But I loved the stage thing we did with Westwood One. I thought that was a blast.
That was a great idea.
I've never done that before, and I thought that was so much fun. So I'm really glad we did that. But yeah, that's that. I didn't want to get shooty, but that's why we're not doing Starrcast this year, and we won't be ever again. So there you go.
We are not going to Jacksonville.
No, although this Starrcast this year is in Vegas, and then they might do another Starrcast I think they're going back to Chicago and Labor Day weekend again for another pay-per-view. I'm not sure yet.
I can stay there.
But AEW is going to officially debut in Vegas in May, and then they're doing a show in Jacksonville, like a live event at a 5,000 seat theater, and then obviously they're going to. I think the television stuff's going to take a little bit longer than they were anticipating, if that even happens. Because now I'm noticing some little backpedaling in some of these interviews. Like Jericho went out and said publicly, I would have never signed with this company if it was a small TV deal. But now the old Netflix is creeping into some of the quotes, and the Hulus, and I'm like, okay. I thought we were getting a big old cable television deal. Not talking shit, just saying. There's some stuff out there to observe. I hope they get a big TV deal, because all that does is help the wrestling industry. So we need something else out there. So I
just hope they take advantage of the resources that they have. The resources, the money that they have, that and it's well done. Okay, production is well done in whatever avenue they choose to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. For fuck's sake, understand how camera angles work.
Yeah.
Okay. For fuck's sake.
I did like the grittiness of it, though. I'll be honest with you. Are you talking the all-in production or the stuff that they've done since then?
All-in production is great. Okay. What they did was fantastic.
Yeah. All-in production was Ring of Honor. It was Ring of Honor. It was Ring of Honor's production company.
It was. Yeah.
There's a reason why you probably will not be seeing all-in footage on anything AEW related, because Ring of Honor technically owns that show. That's totally hilarious in a sense, but I think that I'm hoping the production seems not terrible for some of the stuff they've been doing, but
it's a hell of a lot better than TNA's.
Oh, it's a lot better than TNA's, and it's all press conferences.
And that's the bar I'm setting.
Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, no, I agree. There's a couple you can There's a couple promotions in Europe that are doing some really good production, but it's never live. Live's always different. Live's always a challenge. So I give them credit for doing that because that's very hard to do. Absolutely. But we'll see. We got many months until then.
But good luck to you guys. You guys have fun in Vegas. You guys bilk others.
I hope they kill it.
You're not getting ours.
No, but I hope they kill it. I hope they do a good job. So it's fine.
Yeah.
Do you want me to plug a couple shirts I got over here to the side to?
Do you have stuff you want to sell?
It's not officially for sale yet. I just want to wet some beaks a little bit. The chat was all excited about it.
Oh, you want to give people rim jobs?
Well, maybe if the price is right. I could give a digital rim job. Maybe I can't actually physically.
Oh, that's even kinkier.
That's very kinky. I'll put the shot on you so I can go grab it. So one sec. You want me
to try to entertain? Oh, I can easily entertain. Go ahead.
I'm doing the moment in Wayne's World when Wayne leaves the stage and Garth is by himself and they go, and we're back. So I'm doing that with Doug right now.
Okay. Hey, guys, I have been drinking from the chalice of truth tonight because I went perfect on the predictions. You know what that means? It's going to be a really awkward show for Wrestleview Weekly this Wednesday because we are not drinking any of this shit. This Luna Azul Blanco tequila, a tequila-free Wrestleview Weekly episode, though I'm sure we'll find a reason to take a shot between now and then. It wouldn't be a show without that. Also, Mike Tedesco from the post-Raw shows that are on here is going to be with me on Wednesday.
Yeah, that'll be good.
And it's going to be a show without tequila.
Why no tequila?
Because I went perfect on the predictions.
Are you going to be doing any St. Patrick's Day themed alcohol since that's next weekend, right?
Yes. Oh my God, Irish car bombs.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Man, Guinness with Bailey's. Holy shit.
All right, Doug.
Hi.
We have a gray version of the shirt.
You got a gray version?
Oop, hold on. There we go. Gray version. And it's the soft. So it's like basically this one, but gray, and it's nice and soft. So
okay.
Let me bring this back here a little bit.
Okay, so that's the gray with the. I like how the red pops out on that.
Yeah, the red really does pop on the gray.
Yeah.
And then this one is a work in progress. I'm not sure if I'm going to officially go with this one. And also, I want to make sure it's more the soft kind. But this is a Wrestleview celebrating 20 years shirt, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Long sleeve, but I'm messing with the design a little bit. But and I'm not a fan of that. This is the old 100% cotton, which I'm not a fan of.
Oh, yeah.
But I love this was more of the, I didn't know if people were going to like this because it's kind of a modern looking shirt, but I've noticed this is a style where you do the box and then you do the logo at the bottom, but you don't quite spell out the word. You have to kind of study it with your eyes a little bit. But Brian Farmer, I can't stand long sleeve shirt. Brian lives in Minneapolis. You're going to have to get used to, or Minnesota, you're going to have to get used to long sleeve shirts. But yeah, so those are a work in progress.
Yeah.
But I'll be getting some to Doug and Mike to hawk as well on the podcast as well. But they're just so nice and comfy. They're soft and warm and nice.
I need a new comfy shirt when I wake up in the morning.
Exactly. Why are people asking about blue shirts? Can I have
they're all asking about different colors because they want to be really neat.
Well, wrestling fans, what is with wrestling fans in black shirt? I will make a black shirt option, but the wrestling fans
you should not make a black option shirt. We will be the anti-black shirt wrestling news organization.
Just one. We'll see how it goes.
All right, do one.
We'll just see how it goes. But I'm glad people like them, so we'll explore that and get you more details. Maybe WrestleMania weekend we'll launch it and we'll see.
Yeah.
So we'll have fun with it. But
got to recoup all the losses that Conrad took from us.
He did not. We're not hurting from Starrcast. Everybody.
No, we're not hurting. We're not.
Doug's just joking, but that was a funny joke. That was very funny. So 4 weeks from today is WrestleMania.
The WrestleMania. Who all? Now is it just going to be you and I?
I don't know yet. We'll see. I know Mike is going to be.
He's at the thing.
He's going to be at the show. I'm not sure. We'll play. What I would like to do is talk to Mike and Victoria as they're leaving the stadium, though. So we'll dial them in.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, I'm not sure yet. We'll figure it out.
Do we want to do an NXT show?
I don't know. I'm gonna leave. We're gonna kind of ask them. We'll divulge more into this in the Facebook group. But I remember last year a lot of people weren't. And the thing is, this year NXT's on a Friday night.
Oh, that's right.
Because they're switching things up. So there's a Friday night NXT show. Saturday is the Hall of Fame. Sunday is Mania. Now, Saturday, while the Hall of Fame is taking place there, as Doug yawns into his microphone, I'm just putting Doug to sleep with these details.
No, I just realized that there's other shit going on outside of WrestleMania.
I know there's a lot.
Yeah.
The same night the Hall of Fame takes place, there's that joint New Japan Ring of Honor show. Do we want to watch that and react to it? I think that would be a fun show to sit and drink beer and watch on YouTube and just kind of react to it as it's happening.
That sounds fan-fucking-tastic.
That way we don't have to be so like, oh, I got to sit here and cover the show and blah, blah, blah. We can just kind
be
of...
all seriouses.
Yeah, we can just kind of relax. Maybe we do the same for TakeOver since those shows aren't very long, right? They're only like 2.5 hours. So, I don't know. Maybe we hang out for TakeOver. We hang out for the New Japan Ring of Honor show. And then we cover Mania. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the Ring of Honor show sounds... I mean, the New Japan thingy on the Saturday sounds really fun to me just because... I had been watching this stuff when I first started Wrestleview Weekly.
Yeah.
So I kind of have a vague understanding of who all these critters are.
Exactly. And then we could talk, and Goosey's going to be at the show, so we could talk to Goosey afterwards and see what he thought. Going to the Garden, the Madison Square Garden for that show. By the way, that show was sold out before all the Bullet Club Elite guys left, so they are not on that show. They are.
Nope.
I have to give Cody credit for something. He has been asked continually, are you going to be doing anything WrestleMania weekend, taking bookings as AEW? He goes, nope, that is WWE's weekend. We want nothing to do with it. And I'm smart. I was so happy to hear him say that because
so smart.
There's so many promotions, which I get why they do from a business standpoint. You ride the coattails of the WWE because you want, there's a lot of wrestling fans in town. It makes sense, but I'm glad that they're not doing that. So good move, AEW, good stuff. But we'll continue to have this conversation over the next 4 weeks on the Facebooks, which, by the way, apparently Doug is sending people to our wonderful Wrestleview Media Facebook group. Type in Wrestleview Media on Facebook and you can find it and add it. And
yes,
the other day I sent Doug a screenshot of someone that said,
it's Jason. Yeah, you're talking about Jason.
Was it Jason? Okay, because it just, how did you find us? It said Doug sent me here. I laughed quite a bit. So
yeah, Doug sent me here. That's all you got to tell him. Yeah, Doug sent me here.
It is very much. Goose said, I'm literally getting off a plane from 5 days in Dublin to go to ROH. Oh my God, don't do that. Don't do that.
No.
Spending the night in New York and flying home. Oh, dude, you're going to be so jet lagged. That's a terrible idea, Goosey. But if you're going to Dublin, there's a lot of good places to go to. So message me later, Goosey, and I'll tell you where to go. But that sounds like a terrible idea because the jet lag is real from Ireland. So don't do that. That's stupid. It's a terrible idea. So yeah, we'll be here in 4 weeks. WrestleMania time. We'll keep you posted on what we're planning to do that week because it's always a powerful week, and I love the idea, Doug, of having beer and hanging out and watching wrestling. So
I like the idea of having beer with you too, honey.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's have
a date.
It's a date.
Let's make our girls jealous.
I'm so excited. It's a date. Okay.
I gotta get my polish out.
That'd be fun too. Ken Code 12 is bringing up my old Flyover Politics show. I have talked to Sean because the Iowa caucuses are a year from this November, so we're talking about going to conventions, going to speeches. I want to get the portable podcast equipment that Doug talked me out of for Chicago because it's very expensive, but I'm going to be getting some, and then so yes, Flyover Politics is most likely coming back because where I live, Doug, it's all the candidates are here. They're running around and telling you how to vote and stuff.
At least you got that. We can't figure out our own fucking elections in our state.
Pretty much.
Because we got people going around picking up ballots at people's homes.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you posted about what we're going to be doing, but I'm looking forward to the WrestleMania week. So until then, stay tuned. Wrestleview Media on Facebook, Wrestleview Media on any kind of a podcast outlet, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes. Search that if you'd rather listen to us or look at us. And as we are doing these shows, if you're not already, please subscribe to us on YouTube. I should say that at the beginning of every show. Subscribe, please, because it helps us.
Why haven't you subscribed? If you haven't subscribed or you know someone who hasn't subscribed, the hell's your problem?
If you're watching us right now, hit that damn button if you're not already
listening to us right now.
Yeah, if you
go to YouTube, subscribe to us, and then don't ever see us again.
If you do it, it shows up on the screen and we give you a shout out. So I mean, you get a free shout out on the show if you do it. So there's some incentive, I guess. Maybe for some people. I said that. I'm like, maybe nobody.
Well, we might like you.
Maybe nobody cares. Maybe nobody gives a shit. Also, tomorrow night, post Raw with Mike and Victoria Tedesco. The queen of Wrestleview, Victoria Tedesco, is back with Mike.
And Mike.
And Mike. He loves that. I say that all the time. The queen is back and Mike to talk about
Mike.
Raw. And then Doug is back this Wednesday for
Yes.
Wrestleview Weekly right here on this YouTube channel. So a lot of YouTube content coming at you in the coming days. So
To punch you in the face and
Yes.
tell you to subscribe to us.
yes, please subscribe too. We would appreciate that greatly.
Like us, subscribe to us. Please do. Follow
Please.
us. Oh, yeah.
At Adam Wrestleview, at Doug Wrestleview, follow us.
At least we aren't asking you for $5 this time around,
Yeah,
guys.
well, it's all free. It's all free content. All free. All right, everybody. We will see you in 4 weeks for WrestleMania. Until then, like us, subscribe to us. Can they subscribe us? I don't know if they can do that, Doug.
Love us.
I need to start having beers with you. I've been drinking glasses of water. I need to have beer with you on these shows. So
No, you got to understand this is now a requirement.
yeah, you know what? Then from now on, when we do these, beer is a requirement. So
Beer is a requirement if you're on air with me.
yes, okay. From now on, that's the new rule. Done.
Yeah.
Done. That's in. Okay, it's stamped. All right, everybody.
It's my gimmick, though. You can't infringe.
I'm not going
on
to
it,
steal your
though.
gimmick. I'm just going to drink beer. So
Okay.
there you go. All right, everybody. We will talk to you in 4 weeks for WrestleMania. Bye.